We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Greetings, everyone. How are you? It's another wonderful Sunday with what? Gray Lives on the Rise. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on the lovely, talented, wonderful D. Okay?
Hi, Jamila.
Hi, D. I'm going to give you some information about D. D Forbes Edelen created the CRRRi framework. Let me repeat it again. CRRRi framework.
Pronounced cry.
I'm sorry?
Pronounced cry.
Oh, wow. It is pronounced cry. Okay, thank you, D. A sociologically validated system with 98% confidence by distilling her 30 plus years of messaging and marketing expertise into a methodology that helps second act professionals turn experience into income in 90 days. That's amazing. As a certified professional coach, CPC, and co-author of Change Agents in High Heels. Isn't it? I love it. Change Agents in High Heels. Dee understands what her clients face because she lived it. Returning to the marketplace after caregiving, feeling invisible. That's what I'm talking about. Spending thousands on courses that didn't work, right? So very true. And nearly going broke while trying to find her place. Now she helps professionals in their 40s to 60s avoid that painful path. Using the CRRRi framework, her clients discover their natural sales style and create dignified offers that generate $5,000 and more monthly without pushy tactics for starting over. Dee, I so love this. I'm going to finish going over your wonderful background because I do not resonate with people who are pushy, pushing their ideology on me. Even though it may be great, I do not like hard sales. Soft sales are things that I resonate with, so I'm so happy about this. Your decades of expertise are not expired. They are your competitive edge. And, okay, my computer's freezing. And I'm just going to add up because it's freezing.
That's okay.
And what she does is she helps you to get in charge of your life because age is just a number, even though in this society, they will have you believe that you're over the hill if you don't ascribe to their philosophy. So decades of experience, of your experience and expertise are not expired. They are your competitive edge, and Dee shows you exactly how to monetize them. I am so excited about this, Dee. I'm so excited.
yay, so excited.
I am too, Jamila. I really am, because it's
Yeah,
so true.
I'm so excited. And she doesn't look a day over 40. So you're like, the math doesn't add up. When you look at it, you're like, wait a minute, it's not adding up.
Well, the bones add up, let me tell you.
But when you do things in alignment with your spirit,
Yeah.
you age differently. And it's apparent that that's what's going on. You're aging differently. So, Nardi, how did you come into this? Because um, I talked about your experiences that were not the greatest and the best, but you know what I've learned in my life and on my journey, those painful experiences are really pruning us for something that's greater. They feel uncomfortable but when you look back on them, you're like, oh, now I see why that happened. So what happened? What were some of the things that transpired in your life to lead you on this path? And like, I know what you're saying, you spent thousands on courses that didn't work. That's the new thing, self-help courses that don't work.
And talking about that, Jamila, it's actually the courses were teaching me things I was doing 30 years ago. Things that I'd even forgotten. But when you're away for a while and you step back in, this is what I mean about being invisible. And
Yeah.
you discount your expertise. You feel that, okay, there must be new things, and so the stuff that's happening, they've left you behind and you need to catch up.
Right.
So I was in this feeling that I needed to just catch up to get back into the swing of things. So I'm going to pay for speed, right? Isn't that what they always tell us, right? So I'm going to pay for speed just to get me, because I'm no longer like my 20s and 30s where I can figure things out and whatever. I'm 60 something, right? So I need to spend the money to get the speed. And I go into these courses and I said, well, this stuff I was teaching my own clients and over and over and over. And then it was just like, this madness has to stop. But that's why my sociological background is so important to people like us, right?
Yeah.
Because we internalize that, and everything is so individualistic. If you can't sell, you need to use this script because you have to improve. There's something about you that's deficient that you have to improve. If your mindset that's deficient, so you got to work on that. You got to get a better script from a guru because he's better at it and you're not.
Right.
But the thing that all of these miss is that sales, just like any other interaction, is a social event. It is not it's not a one-party thing. There are always two people in that interaction, right? And those two, and we are always giving off cues. You and I are doing the same thing now. We're feeding off each other's cues.
Yeah.
The audience is part of this social event, right? And so my sociological lens allow me to understand that, and to allow and to help persons to decode that.
Right.
It remains invisible for the most part because we're so used to blaming us. I'm too old, like you said, all of those messaging that we get about aging, right? Those are social definitions of aging, and so when we internalize those, we are going to respond different ways to being blocked to where we want to go. That's my CRRRi framework. That's the foundation of my CRRRi framework. So and let me back up. You said, now how did I get there from there to here? And just like most people, it's a road that you didn't plan.
Yeah.
But when you're there, what else what are you going to do, right? You have to lean into it.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect framework for us to go further into it, because you're absolutely correct. Those things that we did not plan, life is going to happen. You can script it as much as you would like,
Mm-hmm.
and the unexpected is going to show up. And
Mm-hmm.
we can either make it into sour lemons or lemonade. We have a choice because you're there. So it's like there's nothing you can do except go forward, because if you don't, if you remain stagnant or if you go backwards, that's depression, and you're losing traction. So the fact that you're able to move forward, and you did move forward, not only did you move forward, but you created your own framework, is just amazing, because people in that demographic, over 50s, and like you said, from 40s to 60s, especially over 50, people are being dismissed, and they feel as if they have to catch up, like you said, because technology is out there now, AI is out there, and things have really accelerated, and they are speeding up. But you know something, Dee, that, and I would like for you to probably speak to this. The thing that I'm finding out, because I'm a coach with a prominent outplacement firm, and so the things that we're finding out is that human component is the most important piece. Even though technology is out there, connecting with someone like you can take all the online courses that you want. But if you don't have the human interaction with the live person, you're missing out on something, because
Mm-hmm.
there's certain things AI just can't replicate,
Mm-hmm.
and that technology just can't replicate. So I, is there one specific thing that happened that put you on this path to say, I'm going to have to, that first of all, to looking into the model in which you can help people. That's the first thing. And the second one, that I just have to create my own, because I've tried
Mm-hmm.
these other people's programs and they're not
Mm-hmm.
effective.
Right. So, like most things, it's not that I went out. Okay, I've taken a few courses. They're really rehashing stuff that I've done 30 years ago. Let me just go out there and make a new. It's sort of a slow epiphany,
Mm-hmm.
right? When I was teaching and doing my research at the university, I was at the point of finishing up my dissertation, and my husband got
Oh,
his stroke, right?
oh, wow.
So my work was interrupted by that event, and
Mm,
with all the stuff that go along with that, right? Being a caregiver now, having to step out of the academia and navigate the realities of the healthcare system, with
mm,
two teen boys and everything, not easy, you know. And but I had already built up a background of sales marketing, because I'd been a sales and marketing consultant along with teaching. Those have been the two professional paths that I followed, right? So I leaned back into my marketing background to support myself, because you can't go and teach a class while you're bouncing back and forth between appointments. So that had to go. And as I went on through dealing with the roadblocks and the stuff that go along with that, because my husband had a stroke, but really the family had a stroke, you know,
yeah, yeah.
that's what happens. And I learned my research was on applying Merton's strain theory to explain how different groups, marginalized people in particular, respond to not being able to achieve goals that they prize using the socially approved means, and how that impacts how we message about health behaviors, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to say abstinence, you know, is the goal. But what if you're living in an area where abuse is tolerated? Okay,
Yeah.
how does that shape your abstinence? Um, you know, when you're in a situation where you have no autonomy over that, right?
Over your body. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the social environment that you're in. So you can't just have messaging that says abstinence is good, not abstinence is bad, right? That messaging is just not going to work. So you have to understand how people respond depending on the blocks that they're facing.
Right.
And so Merton's model says that we are going to, the groups are going to respond in different ways. They're going to respond by conforming. Some are going to conform. Some are going to retreat. They're going to say, it doesn't make sense for me. I don't want the goal. I don't want the needs. I'm going to, you know, forget it. I'm going to back out. Others are going to say, yeah, I'm going to retreat from that, but I'm going to create my own. I'm going to create my own goals, my own means of achieving them. I don't care whether I have social approval or not, right? And then some are going to become ritualistic, right? They're going to say, okay, I don't care whether this gets me to that goal or not, but I am going to do the thing that feels right for me. I'm going to keep my process in place because I trust my process, you know? And some are going to say, hey, the goal, the rules are never going to work for me. So I'm not going to follow those rules, but I'm going to get the same outcome by following my rules. That's the prime method, right? Conform, retreat, rebel, be ritualistic, or innovate. And so as I am experiencing the strain of caring for my husband, because Merton's model is a strain theory, right? It's a strain, it's talking about response to social strain. So as I'm going through that strain of trying to get help and so forth and navigating that stuff, I'm living my dissertation.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. It's just that, and so it just became natural that one of the things that happens is now you have to make a living.
Yeah.
And now I'm not, and I can't work with the same clients I was because I'm limiting in time, emotional stuff, right? You have to change all of that. So those are additional social strains because there are expectations when you're working with clients and so forth. You know, again, it's a two-way street, not an individual thing. And so I realized that the same social strain that I was using to explain health behaviors and messaging, I'm experiencing the same social strain in a different area in making a living. And so that's when the slow epiphany says, well, let me see if I can apply that interrupted PhD in sales and marketing. And it fit like a glove.
But, and you know, you raised something that was very, very important. This, in the face of adversity and an unfortunate situation, your divine purpose received its birth in terms of CRRRi. Had not those things occurred, you probably would have gotten to it eventually. But because of your husband's unfortunate medical condition, it precipitated the rest of the things that followed, and it kind of pushed you out of your comfort zone because now you have to be creative. The way in which you would normally be able to sustain yourself had to change because your circumstances had changed. So that unfortunate situation is the basis for this wonderful model that you created. And that's what I constantly have to reflect upon, especially after I'm out of the situation. I was like, okay, I now see the breadcrumbs leading to this positive, wonderfully positive outcome. And so that's, and I love the acronym, and I love, even though it's spelled differently, the sound CRRRi, because it's like appealing. Yeah, it's appealing to that part of you that has been in the shadows, that needs to come forth.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so it birthed this wonderful framework
Yes,
that
yes.
you create. So that's what. So how long have you had this wonderful paradigm? How long has it been in
Well,
existence?
my husband had his stroke in 2014.
Oh, okay.
That's when during spring break, and
Oh,
and that
wow.
and that was when, and I was teaching and I was grading papers, right, and working on the last part of my dissertation. And I got my son went to pick him up, got a knock on the door, and then it was life interrupted right from that point on. So 2014 till 2025, how many years is that? Um, um, I don't know. I think it's like 12 or something,
Yeah, 11.
whatever that number is. But the
11.
interesting is, so it's been noodling around
Mm-hmm.
since then, but it didn't percolate to become something until just this last 12 months. And the trigger for that is, I went from caregiving for my husband to caregiving for my mom and dad. My dad had dementia, cared for him, and he died. And my mom has the early stages of Alzheimer's. So it's been from strain, to strain. So I had to learn how to turn, strain to social currency.
Mm-hmm. I like that term.
And so that's a process, right? And so I have learned that those bruises, all of those bruises that you were talking about, really, those are the seeds of our breakthroughs.
Mm-hmm.
Those very bruises, like you said, those are planting the seeds for what will
Yeah.
become our breakthroughs. And we all have something like that inside of us. We may not call it a framework, but there is something unique that comes out of who we are as individuals, who we interact with,
Yes.
the bruises that we get when we fall, you know,
Yes.
and then how all of that comes together to make us highly valuable on the other side.
Yes.
And so when you're in the middle of the storm, though, it's not easy to see.
Very
But
true.
that's part of the process, because
Mm.
without the storm, the stuff that amalgamates together to become what comes out after the storm wouldn't
Mhm.
happen without the storm.
True. That's
Storm
true.
is necessary and sufficient part of that process.
Yeah. And the storm brings up a lot of things that have been hidden within our unconscious, and the late term is subconscious. So the storm unearths a lot of things that we have suppressed, repressed, and with the storm, it brings everything up. It digs from the depths of your soul
Yeah.
to bring things up that you had put to the side for survival reasons. Sometimes you just can't deal with it, or you will feel like you're going to have a psychotic break. And
And
then,
I'm telling you, it's still times when I feel like that, right? And that would
yeah,
be dishonest to say anything else. No one just kind of gets through it and that's it.
yeah,
You the only time that happens is when you're buried.
mm-hmm,
You know?
mm-hmm. You're right.
Um,
It's a continuous process.
exactly. And so that's why, and so when I saw that the strain I was going through was really what I had studied, and it allowed me to step back enough.
Mm-hmm,
It allowed me to step back and think like a researcher,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
right? To think like that. And so that's what led to the formalizing of the process, and I started to look back at, like, the people who have helped, people who have liked helping, and the people who have reached out to me. Because when I stepped back in, within the last 12 months, after my dad died, and just trying to find my footing,
Mm-hmm.
you know I did the typical corporate thing. I worked and tried to find out my niche, match what my strengths are with what the market gaps were. This is just stuff I've done. This is 30 years of marketing. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do. So I did all of that. The surprising thing to me, though, is Jamela, is that my heart wasn't in that anymore. I didn't. It's where my talents and skills fit, but I didn't want to do the whole consulting thing anymore. I just didn't want to do the whole 16 weeks with it. I just, my heart wasn't there. But I would say, don't. It's not about your heart. It's about what is practical. Just do what you need to do. So I was helping other people, but I was saying, well, I'll help you because I want to help, but you're not my target market, so, and they would say, and I would say, and I said, I would encourage and do my thing, help them, show them, give them a positioning, help them with that. And it says, great, go for it, bless you and go for it. And they would say, well, I said, now I have to go and look for my clients. And so that's what was keeping me broke. I'm there helping the people who are coming for help. And while I'm looking for the real client, and then it occurred to me, and the thing that's so surprising about this is everyone who I've worked with over 30 years will tell you that the one thing that D always tells them is listen to the market. You're only worth what the market says you are. You're listen to the market. And what was I doing? The market was telling me these are the people who wanted
your services.
And I'm going, no, let me go and wait for my real clients, that kind of expert blindness, and it was just shocking to me. But then I stepped back and looked at those people. They were even saying, well, can I be one of your clients? And I'm saying, well, no, because my client has a certain price point and this and typical corporate marketing thinking. And that's not kind of where I want to go. But my heart was with these people. And then I just finally says, I'm going to follow my own advice and listen to what the market is saying.
You came up with your own model. I think that that's really wonderful, because sometimes people don't listen to the market. I think that you can, on the other side of it, I think you can, through different energetic processes, you can create what you desire. But one analogy I would like to share is this person I know who was originally from California, and she moved to Atlanta, and she had this barbecue sauce recipe that was amazing, but it didn't do well in Atlanta. So she was blaming the market as opposed to reading the room. And seeing that she kept pitching it, and although it was good, she was competing against the Atlanta barbecue market. She was competing against my hometown, which was Memphis, Tennessee, which is ranked #1 in terms of barbecue. So she wasn't looking at that. She was like, I'm going to stick to this recipe. I'm going to keep pushing this idea and throwing it against the wall, and it has to stick. Well, it didn't stick in a large way because they had a different taste. And so people just were not interested like she thought they would be. So she wasn't reading the market.
But here's the thing. I love that example. I love that example, Jamila. That is what we tend to do, right? That is where social strain comes in, because that is what she's expected to do, right? And to go, and isn't that all the stories we hear about entrepreneurs who they were intrepid and they broke through and they persevered and they, so she's doing what we're socially socialized to do, right? Here is the thing. There is, and this is why this is exactly why my framework was so important to me, because I ran into people like that all the time. They had great ideas, and they really are great ideas, but you have to understand, where is the gap? Where there may be a really niche area where that would work just fine, but where do you start to figure that out? And that is why I developed my process, because that's exactly what I take people through. They give me their idea, like the recipe, we plug it in and talk about AI. It's AI enhanced. Notice I said AI enhanced. A lot of people are talking about, that the stuff is AI powered. No, I think that's the wrong way to look at the value that AI has to offer. AI's value is in speed. The kind of research I used to have to do with focus groups and stuff like that at the university. I can get that data and analyze that data and put in the statistical, number confidence levels that I want. And that's what I've done with my tools, right?
Yeah.
So AI will speed things up, but it cannot power. It should not be the power behind the thing. Human powered, AI enhanced. Okay.
Yeah.
And so my point is that someone can tell me the idea of that, and using it, I can get them to go through the market, analyze the market, and see where there is a gap for that specific thing. One example, there's someone who has natural health, right? Natural health product, a natural health product. And she was selling it with a lot of other people selling the same thing. It turned out that, and so we went through that process, and one of the areas, we matched her passion, her things, and her experience stuff with the market. And so one of the things that she used that product for was diabetes, to help persons with diabetes. Now, there are a lot of stuff out there to help people with diabetes. She's competing against established companies who are diabetes medication, all of that. But you know what we found? The sweet spot was there is an area in the marketplace for persons who were just recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and they are professional women, and they're struggling to manage all of that and still keep their jobs and the stuff going, and so her niche became offering that particular natural health protocol, her product and service to persons, professional women who were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes within the last 24 months. Very niche, not broad, and that market loves that. That market has been searching for that, because the data tells us that they're joining groups trying to find that answer. It went and searched out the comments that they're making and stuff. Years before AI, that would take me months to get that, years maybe, AI can allow us to do that. And that is why I'm so passionate now about applying it to people like that. They have the idea, the barbecue idea, right? But let's compete with Memphis. Let's not compete with all the barbecue people in Atlanta. But maybe there is a group of people who want her particular kind of barbecue just for family reunions, and she could target. We don't know, if you know her, let me connect her with me, and we'll find that out. But that's my point. And so I put myself through the process, and what I discovered about me was my unique niche that fit my passion, where I'm useful and what I want to do. Because I always discard passion. That's another buzzword that I say. It's not about my passion, it's about the market's passion, the target audience passion that you want to be facilitating, right? And so that's why I landed in this sweet spot of helping second act entrepreneurs, their expertise into income. But even before they figure things out, we're still not, some of us, we don't know where we're going to land, where the second act is really going to land. But we need some way of supporting ourselves through that process, rather than spending ourselves blind trying to learn and catch up and do all the stuff. So that's why I landed in this spot.
I think what you're saying is so very powerful. And thank you. I think what you're doing, which is so wonderful, is you're giving people the steps to get to the process of basically revisioning themselves. And some people may be reinventing themselves because you have to do the inner work too. And this is what you're talking about. Some people, regardless of age, will see a lovely D and they're like, I want to do what she's doing. And I can do it. But D went through this painful evolutionary process to prune her to be where she is. And some people, particularly young people, want to jump over that. And I said, you can't jump over that. That's part of the shadow work. You have to address it. You don't have to stay stuck in it. But you're going to have to see how you got to where you are in this place of not feeling soulfully and you're so satisfied and without blaming yourself, so you can move forward and look at all of those, because each painful encounter was pruning you for the next best great opportunity. And you have to revisit that and revision it to see it from those lenses as opposed to the cup being half empty. So what is the population that you primarily deal with, and how long has your wonderful company been in existence?
Well, I've had Busy Wife since the 1980s. It's just gone through different iterations, and so people hear Busy Wife. Someone told me that, oh, I hate that because it sounds like you're just a domestic kind of thing. See what I mean about social? It's always there. We don't acknowledge it, but we're always defining things by our socialization, right? So Busy Wife has always been there since the 1980s. My focus now on entrepreneurs between between 40 and 60, but I really want to help primarily women. Because we are usually the ones who, because of expectations about womanhood and motherhood and just the role of women in families and stuff, we share an outsized burden when it comes to those perception of age and all of that.
Definitely age, yes.
And so that is why I always ran away from this, I don't want to be the woman person, the woman coach, but I am leaning into where the need is meeting my abilities. And I'm listening to them. And that's where the market is telling me the need is meeting my abilities and my desire to help. And so that for the first time, I do help men because they're men in the community, my school community. Back to school is what I call it, right? And but my primary vision, if you will, is to kind of help women to be able to define their second act on their terms, not the terms that everyone defines for them. But you need to fund that discovery. And so I want to allow you to fund that discovery. I want to help you to fund that future, that second act that you're building. So if you're not stressing about eating, and paying bills, then you can step back, like you said. You can do the internal work. You can do all of that when you're not stressing about how am I going to make ends meet. So I want to take that away. I'm saying you don't have to build this big build this big thing, and no. Let's just take the financial pressure off while you're building the thing that your second act is going to be. And I'm hoping that that resonates. And if persons need that, then here I am there, because I've walked it, been through it, and I have a framework that's tested that I know can get you there in months, hours and months, rather than years and years and years, you know.
Well, you know what I love about this program of yours, Dee, is that the vibrancy in which you bring, what you bring to the program. In addition to that, you have a research background. You can't, like me. I come from higher ed, academia. I was a senior administrator at a prominent university. I'm not going to give the name. People, you can Google me and you will find it.
Yeah.
And so when I tell people things or send things to my people on my thread, I've checked it out. So you know the things, excuse me, that work and the things that may not work. So that's what's really, really important. So all of you who are listening, you can see this wonderful, gifted entrepreneur who's walked the walk and who can give you fact-based solutions from a sociological perspective. Before we go any further, Dee, I would like for people to get your contact information.
Okay. Yeah, they can reach me personally, because I love hearing from people personally, at CEO@busywife.com. And I think I didn't clarify before what Busy Wife. So Busy Wife is just words and ideas. That's what it stands for: words and ideas for entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs, with the ... right? And so that's kind of where that is. So it's not about being a wife in the sense of being used up and that kind of a thing, but but if you want to extend that metaphor, right, it's a wife in the sense of being supportive and complementary to your partner, right? And that is fine for me, because that is how I envision my relationship with whoever I'm working with. We're complementing each other. We're working together towards it's you and me against the goal, against you and me against the problem, right? And that's how we tackle it. So CEO@busywife.com. But to kind of
spell it out for them.
Yeah, Busy Wife is B like boy, I like indigo, Z like zebra, I like indigo, and then wife, W like water, I like indigo, F like Frank, E like Edward.com, busywife.com. And join, but the way to get access to me on almost any on demand is by going to my new school group. And it's just go to school.com and just search for Back to School.
Oh,
that's where, Back to School, SKOOL. And right now in there, I'm working on a Black Friday sprint to allow persons now to get to a Black Friday offer that they can deliver in their sleep, 2 hours to actually fulfill, and can be turned into 3 income streams. So that's the challenge that we're working on right now. So hey, if you're up for that, come and join me in the Back to School community. School spelled SKOOL. So
so
ways they can reach out to me.
So in terms of your actual business, you're coaching people to have self-confidence and to look into the second career or the second half of their lives, regardless of a specific area. It crosses all the spectrums. So
exactly. The areas depends on the person.
Okay.
Right? We're they'll have an idea of where their second act is.
Mm-hmm.
what they think it is,
Mm-hmm.
because they're still in the process of the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
After we work together, you'll get closer to where you think you're going, but that's ultimately up to you. My job, what I'm working with you on, is to fund it while you figure that out. Work
Mm-hmm.
while you figure that out, so that
Mm-hmm.
your bandwidth can go into that work and not be derailed by the practical challenges of making a living.
Mm-hmm.
You
So
know,
your coaching includes a financial component to,
because it is we like to think that it doesn't, and that we live in the, but practical, I'm just practically, I've lived it. You need to
yeah.
be able to, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's just not dignity. You feel like a supplicant all the time,
Yeah.
and it just takes away the dignity. There's something that just makes you does something to persons when they're
Yeah.
in that beggar kind of a mode. I don't
Yeah.
want people to feel that.
Yeah. And when you're desperate, desperate people do desperate things. So,
Exactly.
and it's very challenging for you to be creative to pursue the second half of your professional life or your entrepreneurial life, however you would like to phrase it. It's challenging when you're thinking about, okay, I have a mortgage to pay. I have I'm helping my children, my adult children, because most people don't have young children at this age. I'm helping my adult children with their children. I have these medical bills that I have to take care of.
Exactly.
So I'm using all my energy for financial things as opposed to using my energy to create. And it's challenging to create in the midst of depression and despair.
Exactly.
It's
And
very challenging.
your experience is that you don't have to go learn anything new.
Hmm.
You already have that there. We just have to pull that out of you, you
Hmm.
know? And you don't have the bandwidth when you're in the middle of the storm to start holding the umbrella, right?
You don't.
So my job is to hold the umbrella,
Yeah.
you know, so you can get through the storm
Yeah.
and get to shelter.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so true. That is so true. So in the few minutes that we have, what uh, do you have a particular case that you would like to share with us to show how you were able to help this person find his or her dream and get to that monthly income of 5K or more?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. In my community now that I started, I am working with a group of wonderful people. I'm working with a gentleman with ADHD, so he's tech phobic, right? He came in not knowing how to do anything. Now he knows how to use Chat GPT to create a
Mm,
business plan. He's got his offer, his landing page, his own community, his 3 income streams, and we are
wow.
revving him up now to start his to get him ready for the Black Friday sprint. Right.
Wow.
We have another woman who she became what I call accidental entrepreneur because her husband died suddenly, and
Oh.
she was widowed
Mm,
with a son that needs care, and so now she has to take over the business that he has.
mm,
Talk about stress, right? And so she is so wonderful. Not only did we get her to where she knows who she serves, she's putting together her thing in the community. She has also her own community that I'm helping her to build out. And pricing was another thing that they get stuck over, right? So we're
yeah.
working on that, and so she's now on her way to building out her process as well. Um,
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, it's just, and she is in there creating images using AI. When they first came in there, it was like, oh, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about this. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do it. I says, oh, it's okay. It's okay not to know when we start, but now you would not believe it. And then the way she was taught to sell was, you have to overcome objections. And she says it just turned her off. She just hated that. And and so she held back from selling herself because of that feeling. It really was because she wasn't clear about her worth, her value, where she fit. Now she is speaking like a boss, man. She goes and she is more of a rebel and an innovator. So she can't be demure in her advice. She has to go and say, this is what you need to do, this is what you should not be doing, and so forth. And so now when she shows up as a different person. She shows up, saying, yeah, this is how we do it, and this is my advice, and my advice, follow my advice because I know it works, it'll help you. It's just a different vibe, and so she is on
that's amazing.
So though all of them now have offers that's $400 and above, and the goal is to get them 5 of those within the next sell 5 of those offers, and then turn that into digital product for sale on Black Friday. So that's where we're going through that process with them now.
Wow.
So I'll touch back with you when we actually get numbers, but we're well on our way. Numbers I've had before with clients in the past, but I really want to get numbers with these people. So
we
have a part 2 where we'll talk about all the numbers, but they are well on their way.
And you know what's so impressive is that you're getting the numbers with your system, not someone else's that you've used in the past. You've developed it. You now see it through the implementation stage, and you now see that it works using your system. So you're
and you guys are going through, and we're all going through my validation together, right? So welcome, guys. Let's do it together.
And that's what's really good. I love this because, and not to cast aspersions against the top coaches whose names are prominent out there, but their thing, they're coming from a male perspective, which is very different. It's very aggressive. That would turn me off. But there are people who bought their programs and gone through their training, and I think that that's wonderful. But something like that turns me off. It's too pushy. I don't like for people to come to me with something that's pushy. And I desire to honor the person in front of me. If he or she needs a month to get on board because of some other things going on, then let's work on that, as opposed to saying, this one coach, and he has the drill sergeant force, this one person. He said, if you sleep 8 hours a night, you're being lazy. And I said, that's so crazy. So he's saying that while you're sleeping, you're wasting money, and you need to be using that word grind. I hate that word. I hate that
me
word.
too.
You have to grind, and it's strictly, there's some male energy. There's nothing wrong with male energy, but these people are having heart attacks, high blood pressure, brain aneurysms, because you're fighting against your flow. Your flow Dee has a perfect program. She's going to show you, like she said, how these innate things have always been with you, but you've been in the storm and you couldn't see them. So you're going against your own flow when you're pushing and pushing. Because look at water. Water flows until, even if it hits a rock, it's going to go over a rock or under the rock.
But also, Mill, that's such a wonderful experience. And I just want to interject with that, because water also becomes steam, or it freezes, or it flows, depending on the environment, right? when we have a natural way of selling that flows the same way. We freeze in the wrong temperature. We heat up in the right temperature and we flow in the other. And that is what my CRRRi quiz, and it says a quiz, but it's like you said, research grade validation quiz that lets you know what temperature you need to be at to flow, that confidence level. So that I couldn't have scripted it myself when you said that. So that was perfect. And the thing I really love about the people I'm working with is that they're all starting from zero. Not necessarily money, but they're starting from feeling like they're zero.
Yeah.
And I want them to feel like they are who they really are. They are heroes.
Yeah. But the thing is, you don't even desire or need to want it. You're already doing it. But this woman that you presented and with the other client, the male client, they just need you as a coach to show them how to go with their own innate natural flow and stop fighting against it. And like you said, going to these seminars where these people are charging outrageous prices to fit you into their model, and that may not be you. That may not be you. I'm looking at these folks, and they have
and then blame you when you can't be them.
Exactly, and tell you that you're falling short. Exactly.
You're not.
Definitely. With D, our time is up.
I know.
You have been amazing. So
it's both of us together, right? Interact.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it without you, but thank you so much. Please get in touch with D. D, give them your contact information again, please.
CEO@busywife.com or school.com, back to school.
Yes. Well, thank you everyone for joining us and having the opportunity to experience the wonderful, beautiful D Forbes Edelen and Great Lives on the Rise. And go to our website. You see, Great Lives on the Rise. This is our t-shirt. It comes in all different colors. The website is Oyinde Enterprises, Oyinde Enterprises, enterprises.com. And you will see Great Lives on the Rise. That's our latest baby. Click on that. You will see everything. And if you're interested in being a guest speaker on our wonderful platform, all you have to do is contact me, and the contact information is in the Great Lives on the Rise page. So thank you. And Dee is saluting you with her Great Lives on the Rise cup.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep rising, everyone.
Yes, keep on the upswing, keep rising. And thank you so very, very much. And have a wonderful day, and tell your friends and others to come and park here every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, or whenever, because it is pre-recorded and you can see it whenever. So thank you for joining us, everyone. Take care.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Great Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Scents, which is the product line of Oyinde Enterprises. Jamila Scents is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Great Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.